Happy Mahashivratri, first of all. It's a huge day for all of us. It's a huge day for all the spiritual seekers all over the world. Mahashivratri is a very huge thing for all of us. Especially if you are you're spiritual, you are somebody who, is more sensitive, who is more empathic, who's more intuitive, who can feel, then you can always feel the energies for the day, you can always feel the energies of the night, and it has something to do with lunar cycle, of course. Hindu calendars are usually very intelligent, and they were based on lunar cycles. And Mahashivratri, is it has some relation, with the moon. Um, and this Mahashivratri is very particular. This Mahashivratri, particular in the spring season, is very very auspicious for spiritual seekers. You know, so yeah, happy Mahashivratri first of all. Har Har Mahadev. Um, Today in the video, I'm going to talk about the feminine and the masculine. So, yeah, like why, this video is going to be about how did we come into, you know, um, how did we stoop down, you know, how did we, why did we uh, come, why did we collectively manifested a very dense reality for all of us? I think that will be the great way to put it out. So, how did we collectively manifested a very dense reality for all of us? Let us just discuss those points first. So, the feminine essence. So, the very first point that we need to remember is that feminine essence is present in, a male and a female. The masculine essence is also present in a male and a female. That is, you know, um, you know, both the energy, are present, okay, um, in the being, okay, in your being. Every being can experience both of these energies in themselves. Now, with some people, they are very imbalanced. For some people, they're just not imbalanced. They are very distorted. Okay, and for some, you know, it's very much in alignment. It's very, the perfect being. The Shiv. He always had his masculine and feminine all together. You know, so very beautiful, very perfect. If you see, you know, uh, yeah, if you see Shiv and Parvati together, if you hear their stories together, they are such a perfect balance. How they just, stop each other, from going onto the path of adharma, or how they just support each other onto the path of dharma. And it's a beautiful relationship. I mean, now if I see into the world, I see that, people come together, you know, to satisfy each other's ego, you know, like I'll satisfy your ego, you satisfy my ego, okay? And the problems, occur, the clashes, the conflicts occur in these relationships, when they occur when, it is in conflict and, clash with the ego of the self, There are many, relationships that are based on, the ego, okay? So these type of relationships, their goal is not to, seek truth, or their relationship is not about expanding, or you know um, even, supporting the community that they are in. Okay, this relationship is more about, it's very, these kind of, relationships which are based on the lower self, or the lower, yeah, these type of relationships which are based on the lower self. These kind of relationships are, based on, untruth. They're very, they're very limiting. They are very, they have very certain strict identity to it. Yes. So yeah, um, yeah, yeah. Whereas, if you see and you look at Shiv and Shakti, then their relationship is the most beautiful. It is based on truth. You know, there came one instant, even I don't remember exactly the story, but there came one instant, even when Shakti was getting little emotional. Okay, and she wanted to choose, a um, she was clouded by her own emotion, you know, and Shiva was trying to explain it to her that you are right now clouded by your own emotion, dharma is not here, and that is not how we can go about life, we have to follow our dharma, and but she was little stubborn, and it was very difficult for her to understand that, and it was a very very um, um, it basically it had some mother role to her. Okay, so either she had to choose her mother role for her child, or she has to choose the path of dharma. So, a very a very difficult or challenging situation had come in front of Shakti at that point of time. So Shiva said that if you choose what you choose, then I have to disappear. I have to move away from here, you know, because our relationship is based on truth. You know, we are together because of truth, because you chose truth and I chose truth. That is what brings us together, and not any other thing. It's only dharma which brings us together. you know there are some relationships who are based on egos. Some people choose ego, that's why they get attracted to people who choose ego, and they both come together to satisfy each other's ego. They have a very small universe, a very small identity, you know whereas a very high kind of relationships, a very a um, very soulful and very alive relationships, or very relationships that have very cosmic energies to them. you know those kind of relationships are based on truth. Even the relationship between the god and its devotee is also based on dharma. Even if devotee chooses dharma, that is why he gets attracted to a certain kind of god. He gets connected to a higher consciousness. And even god has to choose dharma. Okay, even god has to choose dharma. Okay, and let's say if you know let's say a god and a bhakta, a god and a devotee, both of them are in a union, or working in together. Let's say, and let's say the god comes out of that contract. Let's say the god comes out of that contract, god doesn't choose his dharma, you know then what do you think would happen? you know what do you think will happen? Do you think god rules this world? Do you think god rules this universe? No. The universe is ruled by dharma. The world is ruled by truth. The world is ruled by love. And God made it like that. And then He stepped into it. Do you get it? God created the world. He based it on truth. He based it on love. He based it on justice. And then He Himself jumped into it when His dharma called Him. Okay? So, so is he is also bound by his own creation. you know he even put rules on himself. So if you ever ask, between a god and a devotee, which is bigger, then it's god's creation that is more bigger than the creator and the creation. Okay, it's Yeah, it's the creation itself. It's the universe itself which is bigger. You know, it's like it's like a coder. Okay, it's like a coder or it's like a programmer, designed a software. Okay, and then he himself stepped into it. It's like that. So even God cannot escape his dharma. Who are we? So when Shakti was stubborn enough and she wanted to choose another path, which was not dharma. Then Shiv started to disappear, and when she was starting to disappear, into the cosmic energy, he was leaving. Then Shakti realized. Then a sudden awakening happened to Shakti, and she was like, no, 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 I do understand what we are into. I do understand that we are into truth, and we are in this truth together, you know. And yes, it was like that. So, yeah, any kind of union of a masculine, feminine, of a god, of its devotee, both of them cannot escape their dharma. Both of them cannot, any of them, either of them cannot escape their truth. They are both bound by it. And this is the eternal truth. This will always be there. This eternal truth will always be there. Even if she didn't exist, even if he didn't exist. But this eternal truth will keep existing, you know. So, what is really happening on the planet right now with the feminine essences and the masculine essences? So, you know, so why? Yeah, let's just. I know I somehow went into another track somehow, but let's just come back to the question again. Like, how did we manifested, a very dense reality for all of us very collectively? How did we do that? The first reason is the lower standards of the feminine. Okay, her, how the feminine was suppressed. She was, yeah, she was suppressed and brought down to a level that wasn't her truth. Whereas how, they kind of started to that is how they distorted the feminine, and how they distorted the masculine. They numbed it down. They numbed down the masculine so that it never integrates with the feminine. Okay, it never, the masculine strengthens only when it integrates the feminine. Okay, and of course the feminine strengthens when she integrates her masculine. So, I actually read a very beautiful post on Instagram. Just give me a second, I'll read out to you, and I think it will help me, uh, with the idea that I'm really trying to explain here, with what has really gone wrong with the feminine and the masculine essences, out on the planet. Just a second. I had actually shared this on my Instagram story as well. Women aren't taught to recognize the patterns of male violence, but instead romanticize them. Okay? So here are some examples so you will get the idea. Women aren't taught to recognize the patterns of male violence, rather romanticize them. So you'll just get an idea how she has come down to the lower standards, how the feminine essences on the planet have come down, okay? How she has lowered down her own standards, right? Whereas she is or just always, जहाँ फेमिनाइन खुश रहती है ना, वो हमेशा ही वो जगह, वो स्पेस, वो हमेशा ही फलता है, बहुत फूलता है। इट्स सो इम्पोर्टेंट। यू नो मैंने ये पोस्ट बहुत, आई गेस लास्ट 2023 में शायद मैंने ये पोस्ट शेयर किया था। I shared this post about, if a feminine isn't happy, if a feminine has been suppressed or feminine has been distorted, in certain spaces, she has not been given chance to be herself, those spaces are, you know, are going through some kind of a death. Those spaces are, going through something very sad right now. So that was a post that I shared in 2023, about the feminine essences on my Instagram. I don't think so. I had started my YouTube, back then. I started my YouTube the last year. So you can just check that out. Maybe you have to go back. So let's just come back to the post here. That boy who yanked your pigtails, he liked you. That brother who's scared of any boy you liked, he protected you. Okay, this is, you know, um, we are, accepting lower standards. Okay, in the name of love, in the name of protection, we are accepting these lower standards. That boyfriend who told you to lengthen your skirt, he loved you. That older guy who preyed on you, he admired you. We have, how these narratives have changed, in the name of love, वो तो तुम्हें protect कर रहे थे, he was trying to protect you, you know um, um, you know that husband who punched a hole in the wall in the middle of an argument, he needed you to fix him. अरे वो गुस्सा इसलिए तो हो रहा था क्योंकि वो he wanted you और तुम थे नहीं. हमने women have gone down, women have lowered down their standards, right? That male boss who's always inappropriate, he couldn't resist you. Look at the clothes that you were wearing, that just makes you irresistible, right? That is why all of this thing is happening. That is why you're getting that kind of an attention, inappropriate attention. So we kind of, you know, we really started to intellectualize our pain. Okay, we started to intellectualize our trauma. We started to understand it. It was never meant to be understood. It was meant to be cried. It was meant to be purged. It was meant to be talked about. It was meant to be written books on. It was meant to be written poems on. It was meant to be talked about. It was never meant to be understood. These things were never meant to be understood. These things were never meant to, be accepted. What's wrong with us? And same thing is happening with the masculine. I the kind of the clients that I'm having, the things that I'm noticing around, masculines are completely numbed down. They are in full acceptance of the pain. They have intellectualized their pain. What is happening, in spirituality we said sab kuch accept karo. When did spirituality, there is a difference between accepting and tolerating. When did this acceptance became tolerating? We started to understand our pain. We started to explain to ourselves like why all of this is happening. This is happening because of this is happening. No, you were meant to always feel it, write poems, rebel, come on streets, go to government offices and just be spoken about. We all wanted to make that difference, as mothers, as wives, as sisters, as you know any girl out on the street. We always wanted to make a difference, right? but we were told to carry out. This happened because of this, that. We were all told story. And the same is happening with the masculine. The masculine essence has completely, it has, intellectualized the pain, you know, कि this happened because this ये ऐसे ही होता है सोसाइटी के अंदर ऐसा ही है इसलिए. When did spirituality became about acceptance? Acceptance never meant tolerating. Mass Why there are a lot of bad things that are happening out in the society, the real essence, the real masculine essence is missing. The lot of crimes that are happening, everything, the real masculine essence is missing. you know um, there was this research that was conducted, and there was this teenage boy used to bully, and yeah, used to bully and maybe even sexually abuse children younger than his age, right? And he was asked, why do you do, or how do you choose your culprits, how do you choose your victims, how do you know who to target to? So he says, I look for how strict, or how how the parents are. They are softer ones, we're not going to harm the person, we're not going to harm the child, I'm not going to harm the child. So many things are happening out in the world because some some evil forces are not shown its position. And you know why that has happened? Because the real masculine essence is missing, you know and you know why the real masculine essence is missing? Because the real feminine essence is missing. Okay, when the feminine in her true authenticity, when she truly in her true authenticity, when she uh, cuts down, okay, and she increases her standards, okay, she increases her standards of friendships, of relationships, even at her home, in her family dynamics, in her workplace dynamics, whatever it is, when she raises her bar, okay, then people around her have to evolve because they all know she is the nourishment. The true feminine essence, is actually the nourishment. You know, they so she has to make her absence being felt. When that absence is being made felt, then people around her knows it's time to work, it's time to evolve for us to get her. And that's exactly when the real masculine essence comes up. Okay, people start to come into their real masculine essence, you know to get her nourishment. Okay, सो कहते थे कि ऐसे कहा जाता था कि जिस सोसाइटी में औरतें अगर करप्ट हो जाएं या औरतें अगर खराब हो जाएं तो वो सोसाइटी डूब जाती है. पहले तो मुझे इस स्टेटमेंट पे बहुत गुस्सा आता था. So let me translate it into English, that it is said that whenever there is a woman who, if the woman in the society gets corrupted, or gets down in her lower self, then it's like a doom, it's like a ticking of a doomsday for the society. And when I used to hear these statements, I used to feel so angry. Like, everything you put it on woman, everything is on woman's shoulder, like everything is her responsibility. People tell her this, that, but now I am getting what they really meant when they said this. Now I'm really getting what they meant when they said this. We have accepted lower standards. And when we accept lower standards, people around us don't want to improve, don't want to evolve. So when there is an evolved feminine in any society, the masculine essence will definitely evolve for her nourishment. And if she, sets bar and she starts to choose lower standards, and by lower standards I don't mean some stupid, some brand new car. I don't know what all they are teaching you, I swear. By lower standards, by higher standards, I don't mean that, your, um, oh God, what was this guy name, yeah? I don't know. There was this guy who used to come and, used to tell how to impress women, how to get her, you know, get her a good car, get her, um, I don't know. Um, I'm not talking about that. By higher standards, I don't. By higher standards, I mean higher standards in character, for God's sake. Okay? By higher standards and lower standards, you get higher standards in character. Okay? I'm not saying higher standards in materialism or something like that. I'm saying higher standards in character. Please do not get me wrong, for God's sake. A woman is being beaten, a woman has had domestic violence, people have explained it to her. It's okay. That is what I mean by lower standards. Lower standards in character. People have said that, you know, people have told her, or the husband itself has told her that, I love you, who will I beat otherwise? जिससे प्यार करते हो उसी से गुस्सा करते हो, उसी से ये क्या है? We have told her that, and she has accepted her lower standard. So yeah, that is why the society never came into evolution. It's the woman. She decides the bar. Okay, like I am up here. Okay, now you all have to evolve for me. Okay, and then let me see who do I choose. And that's how a society would go into an evolution. The swayambhars that used to happen. You know, so if the swayambhar had Sita, then only a Ram would can take her hand in marriage. No, even that what I was watching this Ramayan. I think it comes on Sony. So I don't watch that much, but few scenes I've watched it, and I love that scene. So Sita Ma was having a kind of shabdarth. So it's a kind of a there's no exact word, that shastrat, I guess. So in Hindi we call it shastrat. I don't know how to translate it into English, but I guess we could call it like a debate or something. So yeah, she had a kind of a debate. It was like a वो क्या बोलते हैं उसे, rapid question answers kind of a thing was going on, okay, between Gargi. So Gargi was a women's saint, okay, and she was whoa, she was the kind of question she asked from Sita, I was like, wow. And what Sita answered, I was like, wow. I mean, it was really beautiful a scene, and I was like mesmerized by both these ladies. I was like, wow, wow, wow. Why does this happen in our India right now? So yeah, if we would have that kind of an education, the world would have been such another place altogether. So yeah, I was watching this. Yeah, so I was watching this. The shastra that was going on between Gargi. So she was a elderly, women. She was a saint, and she was highly educated, and she was very mature in her wisdom. So she was asking very rapid questions from Sita, and she also has to answer very quickly. And by the end of it, what Gargi said, that, oh, she's very wise, she's very mature. And then she said, I am afraid. And then everyone went into silence. It's like, why? Why are you afraid? She's mature, she's wise. She said that there has to be somebody of her match because she's so intelligent. I don't know if there would be somebody of a match, right? So that's the thing, you know. So, and if you look at our planet, the very thing that they have really done to the society is they suppress the feminine. You suppress the feminine, the whole society collapse. You put her down, you crush her self-esteem, she subdues to the lower standards, the whole society crumbles. That's what they did. You put the queen away, the whole chess goes wrong, right? So, queen is a very important part. You take the queen out of the equation, the whole thing gets something else. So, yeah, that's exactly what happened with our planet. But now she's raising her bar. The feminine essences are rising. The very last years have been about the feminine rising, and now she's moving into integrating her masculinity as well. She's really strengthening herself in many of her ways. So, this video is about how you don't have to lower your standards in character, okay, while making relationships, just maintain those standards, you know and only a true feminine can maintain her standards, only a true feminine, okay, nothing less. Nothing less, I am telling you that. And the 5D will be established, only when a feminine who never lowered down her standards, forms, or finds a match, and then she comes into the new earth. The planet comes into a new earth then. So yeah, this is what I really wanted to come on and discuss here, that how what has gone wrong is that feminine has lowered down her standards, you know and the masculine has become completely numbed out. It started to intellectualize its pain, rather than to feel, to purge, to feel angry, to feel, the hatred. I am not saying that you have to act out of those emotions, but emotions are ultimately energy, and you can always channelize that energy and do something constructive rather than destructive, right? So masculine energies were always meant to do something constructive for the planet, right? So yeah, this was the point I really wanted to keep out here. If this video helped you in some sense, do like, do share, do comment. If there are friends, who are going through something like this, you want to share, do comment. It will help my channel also to grow, and it will help me reach other people as well. So um, that's the kind of return you can give to me, right? So thank you for watching the video. Har Har Mahadev.